Greetings. Happy Friday to you. Want to talk very quickly about transformation. Today is September 11th, and a lot of us are um, thinking about, what happens in the world 19 years ago and how it has changed. It changed so much, and things still continue to change. Wanting to think back, I was thinking back as to who I was and where I was 19 years ago when the towers came down. And I don't know that I even recognized myself. I definitely can see how people could be in a situation where they could stay in continuity and keep kind of making the same kinds of decisions. But my life is so radically and drastically different from where I thought I would be 19 years ago and where I am now. And it just made me think about the process of transformation. Oftentimes in the world of personal development, um, we're constantly recognizing that people are at different stages of readiness and for different levels of transformation. And I've actually grouped them into four stages or four levels where, depending on where you are, there's different tools that are really important. But usually, the people that I end up working with and speaking with the most are people who are quite familiar with many different forms of personal development or leadership development, whether it's they've taken courses, they've maybe even gotten a certification, they've had some group coaching, they've read a bunch of books, they're very kind of well versed in a lot of topics, they've gone to some live seminars or events. And so they're not brand new to the world of personal development, and yet they're still struggling year in and year out with certain things, and they're wondering why. Well, part of it is that the human psyche is just such that once it gets into a rhythm and a routine, even if it's not the best rhythm and routine, it'll just want to stay in that rhythm or routine. It's just the law of inertia, right? But also, one thing that I noticed is that people don't recognize that you can't get there from here. So, what do I mean by that? I always give the illustration of a train. So, someone riding on a train and someone standing at a stationary point, observing a runner, will have two different um, perceptions of that runner's speed and movement. So the person who's riding on the train is like, man, that runner is going really slow, and soon they're gone, right? Because the train has passed them and has kept on going. The person who's standing stationary is like, oh, wow, that runner is really kind of moving pretty fast, and they're going away, but you can still see them for a lot longer, right? And I think when we're trying to read a book or go to a seminar or attend an event or do some sort of course, we're still in the vantage point of a standing person. So the runner seems like they're really doing a whole lot, right? Like that's like, wow, it's a big deal. When you work with a facilitator, with someone who's skilled at whatever transformative process you're trying to go through, whether it's something as simple as losing weight, which is not simple for those of us who are not experts in that area. We know how not simple it is. Or if it's something that's super complex, like becoming a doctor or something like that, right? No matter what the process is that you're trying to go through, everything works better, faster, and more effectively when you have a skilled facilitator. And notice it's skilled, it's not just anybody who thinks they can tell you something and you'll just go do it. It's not how transformation works. But a skilled facilitator is someone who's not judgmental, someone who genuinely is looking out, doesn't have any conflicting interest with your best interest, right? And someone who's actually gone through the process, knows it inside and out, and knows where you might stumble, fall, have a hard time, and can help you back up, right? That's a skilled facilitator. They don't try to do the work for you, but they definitely make it a lot easier, and they can help you when you run into roadblocks, which you always will, in being able to overcome them. The biggest roadblocks, hi, Najiva, happy Friday to you. The biggest roadblocks that people face is making a decision. our brains will be like, no, you made a bad decision 15 years ago. You can't make any more decisions that are serious or important. We get so scared of making a decision. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase in business. If you're a business owner, you've probably heard the phrase money like speed, right? When you use money effectively, you distribute it, or you invest it, or whatever you do with it, it tends to help to build momentum of receiving more money, and then you get this nice flow going on, as opposed to just holding on to it and hoarding it in fear of spending any of it, right? Yes, it is true. And then on the flip side, transformation loves decisiveness. It's Tony Robbins says this all the time. He says, it might take you 20 years to come to a moment, but it may only takes you that moment to make a different decision. And truthfully, any good self-help book that I have ever read has always required the reader to make a series, not just one, but a series of important decisions. So maybe the first decision is to actually just start reading the book. Maybe the second decision is to actually implement on the first thing that they read or learned that was new for them. But what happens is that by chapter 2 or 3, most people have burned out. They've stopped implementing, they get overwhelmed, they say, I'll do it later, right? So it's the job of a skilled facilitator to help them when they start to burn out, yes, make a decision, to be able to see, why am I burning out? Why am I fading? Why am I getting fatigued? Why am I resistant or uncomfortable with doing this? Why are these things happening? And for each individual, it might be something slightly different. There are some common reasons that almost everyone faces, but there's always unique combinations of those common reasons, right? That are unique to the person. So a skilled facilitator is really powerful in helping you to continuously make important decisions so that you can actually get to the place that you want to get to. Because what happens with a book or a course or an event is you're like, this is great. And then you go off and you do nothing with it. And then did it really serve you well? Probably not, right? And that's why people hire personal trainers or accountability partners, whatever it is that they hire that person to help them to act. But it's really not about accountability. It's really about getting, for me anyway, it's about getting underneath to find out why they're not acting, instead of just saying, you've got to act, you've got to act, you've got to act. That kind of works a little bit later on. It's like a later thing when you already know what to do, you kind of pass that, and maybe it's just a slight little nudge that you need to just stay on track. Like, I'm going to meet up with this person and I'll stay on track. But often that's not really what people need. People usually don't need accountability. They need to actually get to the root of the issue and resolve it so that they can feel good about the decisions that they're making. Right? And one of the biggest decisions to make is like to invest in a mentor, to invest in a coach, to invest in a program, to invest in something to help you in your development versus trying to DIY it, right? That's a big thing. So what I'd like to invite you to do is, if you feel like that in 2020 you wanted to show up differently for all of the challenges that we faced this year than you did, and you know that there's a deeper level of resilience or a deeper level of impact that you're here to make, then I invite you to send me a message, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you about whether I can help you as a facilitator through the Certain Maverick Leader path, or if I have a good resource for you, depending on where you are in the path. I've been doing this long enough now that I can usually tell what the next step is for people. And for some people, I encourage them to take baby steps and really go very, very slowly. And then for other people, I encourage them to really jump in. So send me a message and let me know, because with the Certain Maverick Leader path, what we do is you're in the driver's seat. You never lose control of what works for you. All I'm there to do as a neutral facilitator is to help you see your blind spots, and then to help you find ways to get to the root of why you're not making those decisions and make that happen. Because that's where the true transformation lies, and that's where your life, the quality of your life just skyrockets. When you finally get past those things and you get to experience that thing that you wanted to experience, being that disruptive leader that's like so authentic and so clear and confident in a natural and in a healthy way, that is where the juice is. And I've seen people, I've walked people through this transformation, and it's such a joy to see them go from tense and tight and unsure to like super confident in a good way, like magnetic, happy, joyful, and truly giving at a higher level than even they had previously thought possible. So that's what I want for you. Yes, a coach and a mentor is so important. So leave me your thoughts in the comments on this topic of transformation, loving decisiveness. I'd love to read what you think about this. And if you're ready to make sure that by the end of 2020, you are equipped for all the craziness that life brings and be able to still be the impactful leader that you know you were put on this planet to be, then send me a message. Let's talk. And I will do my best to support you in whatever way makes sense. All right. Much love. Bye.